Israel-Iran conflict has captured global attention, with recent events escalating tensions to unprecedented levels. In June 2025, the Israeli Defense Forces launched extensive strikes on Iranian military targets, including the Organization of Defensive Innovation and Research, a key institution in Iran's alleged nuclear weapons program. This video will break down the history, timeline, and key events of the Israel-Iran conflict, analyze the causes behind the escalation, and explore the broader implications for the Middle East and the world. Let's begin by understanding the roots of this complex and volatile relationship. To understand today's hostilities, we need to look back. Iran and Israel once had cordial relations, especially during the Cold War. Iran, under the Pahlavi dynasty, recognized Israel and engaged in economic and intelligence cooperation. However, the 1979 Iranian Revolution marked a turning point. The new Islamic Republic severed ties, refused to recognize Israel, and began supporting armed groups opposed to Israel. Since then, relations have been openly hostile, with both countries viewing each other as primary adversaries in the region. In the years following Israel's founding in 1948, most Muslim-majority countries refused to recognize the new state. Iran, however, was an exception. During the reign of the last Shah, Iran and Israel cooperated in agriculture, oil, and military intelligence. Iran even supplied Israel with crude oil after the Six-Day War, when Arab nations imposed a boycott. This cooperation was facilitated by shared interests and a mutual connection to the United States, which played a significant role in shaping regional alliances. The Islamic Revolution of 1979 dramatically changed Iran's foreign policy. The overthrow of the Shah and the rise of Ayatollah Khomeini led to a complete break with Israel. Iran refused to accept Israeli passports and banned its citizens from traveling to Israel. The new regime began supporting groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis, all of which oppose Israel. This marked the beginning of a new era of open hostility and proxy conflicts across the region. The timeline of Israel-Iran tensions is marked by a series of significant events. In 1979, Iran's new leadership identified Israel as a primary enemy. The 2000s saw revelations about Iran's secret nuclear facilities, followed by negotiations, breakdowns, and resumed enrichment. Cyberattacks, assassinations of scientists, and direct military strikes have punctuated the relationship. The past decade has seen escalating attacks, including missile and drone strikes, and retaliatory operations on both sides. Several key events have defined the ongoing Israel-Iran conflict. These include the exposure of Iran's nuclear program, the Stuxnet cyberattack, the assassination of Iranian scientists, and a series of missile and drone attacks. The conflict has also involved attacks on consulates, direct strikes on military and nuclear sites, and retaliatory actions by both countries. Each event has contributed to the deepening mistrust and the cycle of escalation. June 13, 2025, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a major military campaign targeting Iran's nuclear and military infrastructure. The operation resulted in the elimination of key Iranian personnel, destruction of missile sites, and neutralization of early warning systems. This strategic move shattered Iran's confidence in its security apparatus and marked a significant shift in the balance of power in the Middle East. The name Rising Lion is not just a code name. It draws from a biblical verse in the Book of Numbers, symbolizing strength and victory. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's actions and references to this verse signaled the intent behind the operation. The phrase evokes the image of Israel rising as a powerful force, determined to secure its future against perceived threats from Iran. Operation Rising Lion targeted multiple strategic sites across Iran. Confirmed strikes occurred in Tehran, Natanz, Tabriz, Isfahan, Arak, and Kermanshah. These locations included nuclear enrichment facilities, research centers, military bases, and missile storage sites. The widespread nature of the attacks demonstrated Israel's reach and its intent to cripple Iran's military and nuclear capabilities. Several factors led to the current escalation. Israel's leadership framed the attacks as necessary to eliminate the nuclear threat posed by Iran. The International Atomic Energy Agency's censure of Iran for non-compliance with nuclear obligations added to the tension. Israel's concerns over Iran's potential to develop nuclear weapons, combined with political pressures and regional instability, set the stage for the recent military actions. Debate over Iran's nuclear ambitions is central to the conflict. Israel, widely believed to possess nuclear weapons, views any Iranian progress as a direct threat to its security and regional dominance. Iran insists its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes, but Israel and its allies remain skeptical. The fear that Iran could quickly develop nuclear weapons has driven Israel's preemptive military actions. Domestic politics have played a role in Israel's decision-making. Prime Minister Netanyahu faces criticism for allegedly using military actions to maintain his political coalition and distract from internal challenges, including corruption charges and fallout from the October 7, 2023, Hamas attacks. Despite political divisions, most Israeli politicians have rallied behind the military strikes on Iran, reflecting a rare moment of national unity. Striking nuclear facilities carries enormous risks. Such attacks can cause radioactive leaks, explosions, and long-term environmental contamination. The International Atomic Energy Agency closely monitors these situations, as seen after the Natanz facility was hit. The potential for catastrophic consequences makes these operations highly controversial and dangerous, not just for the countries involved but for the entire region. Iran's failure to anticipate Operation Rising Lion highlights a series of strategic miscalculations. Tehran underestimated the depth of US-Israel coordination, overestimated Israel's domestic distractions, and misread signals from the US. Iran also failed to recognize the broader pattern of Israeli preemptive strikes and clung to outdated assumptions about regional stability, particularly regarding its reliance on allies like Syria's Assad regime. Iron Dome is Israel's renowned short-range air defense system, designed to intercept rockets, artillery, and missiles. First used in 2011, it operates around the clock and is considered one of the most effective systems of its kind. The Iron Dome has played a crucial role in protecting Israeli cities from missile attacks, but recent conflicts have tested its limits as adversaries develop new tactics and technologies. Iran has developed several ways to penetrate Israel's air defenses. By launching large numbers of missiles and drones, Iran can exhaust Israel's interceptor supplies. The use of hypersonic missiles, which travel at incredible speeds and can maneuver unpredictably, poses a significant challenge. Cruise missiles, flying low and steady, can also evade detection. These evolving tactics have made recent attacks more difficult to counter. Military comparison between Iran and Israel reveals stark differences. Israel boasts advanced technology, a modern air force, and is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons. Iran, on the other hand, relies on a large standing army, missile capabilities, and a network of allied militias across the region. While Israel has qualitative superiority, Iran's strength lies in its ability to wage asymmetric warfare and sustain proxy conflicts. Iran's deterrent strategy relies heavily on its network of regional allies, often referred to as the Axis of Resistance. This includes Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Popular Mobilization Forces in Iraq, the Houthis in Yemen, and Hamas in Gaza. These groups provide Iran with strategic depth and the ability to project power across the Middle East, complicating any direct military confrontation with Israel or the US. Israel-Iran conflict has far-reaching economic consequences. Oil prices have surged by over 11% since the conflict began, with fears that continued escalation could push prices even higher. Stock markets around the world have reacted negatively, and there is a real risk of wider energy disruptions if Iran attempts to close the Strait of Hormuz, a vital corridor for global oil and LNG shipments. Rising oil prices have a domino effect on the global economy. Higher energy costs lead to increased production expenses, which are passed on to consumers. This can result in higher inflation and slower economic growth, especially in oil-importing countries. The ongoing conflict threatens to exacerbate these trends, making economic stability a major concern for governments worldwide. The conflict has also disrupted global aviation. Airlines have suspended or rerouted flights across the Middle East, and several countries have closed their airspace. Flight safety is a major concern, as civilian aircraft risk being caught in crossfire or targeted by mistake. The situation recalls past tragedies, such as the downing of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH17, highlighting the dangers of flying in conflict zones. The United States has maintained a complex stance. While engaged in nuclear talks with Iran, the US has denied involvement in Israel's recent strikes. President Trump has issued strong warnings to Iran's leadership, demanding unconditional surrender and threatening military action. The US position reflects a mix of diplomatic engagement and hardline rhetoric, aiming to pressure Iran while supporting Israel's security. India is closely watching the conflict, as about 40% of its crude oil imports and over half of its LNG supplies pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Any disruption could threaten India's energy security. While the government assures that reserves are sufficient for now, the situation remains fluid, and any escalation could have serious consequences for India's economy and energy needs. The conflict has led to rising freight and shipping costs for Indian exporters. Air freight rates have surged, and shipping companies anticipate higher insurance premiums and fuel costs. Exporters are also concerned about reduced demand from Iran, a key market for Indian commodities. The government is working with exporters to mitigate these challenges and adapt to the evolving situation. One of the most significant impacts for India is the setback to the Chabahar port project in Iran. This port is crucial for India's regional connectivity, providing access to Afghanistan and Central Asia while bypassing Pakistan. The conflict has disrupted progress on the port's expansion and associated railway projects, potentially delaying India's broader strategic ambitions in the region. India maintains strong people-to-people ties with Iran, with thousands of Indian nationals, including students, residing there. The government has actively evacuated citizens to safer locations, and many students have already returned home. Ongoing hostilities have led to postponed exams and heightened concerns for the welfare of Indians in the region, adding a humanitarian dimension to the conflict's impact on India. In response to the escalating conflict, India launched Operation Sindhu, a humanitarian evacuation mission to rescue Indian nationals stranded in Iran. The first flight brought 110 students home safely, and a 24/7 control room was established to assist citizens. This operation highlights India's commitment to protecting its diaspora and its ability to respond swiftly to global crises. One proposed solution to de-escalate the broader regional conflict is the two-state solution for Israel and Palestine. This approach envisions the creation of an independent Palestinian state alongside Israel, addressing one of the root causes of regional instability. While challenging to implement, the two-state solution remains a central topic in diplomatic efforts to achieve lasting peace. Direct engagement between Iran and Israel, supported by neutral international mediators such as the European Union or United Nations, could pave the way for trust-building and meaningful negotiations. Dialogue and diplomacy are essential for identifying common ground and reducing the risk of further escalation. The involvement of global powers is crucial in facilitating these efforts. Global superpowers like the USA, Russia, China, and the EU have a decisive role to play in de-escalating the conflict. Rather than fueling tensions, these countries should focus on brokering peace talks and encouraging restraint on all sides. Their influence and diplomatic leverage are vital for achieving a sustainable resolution to the Israel-Iran standoff. United Nations, especially the Security Council, must intensify efforts to bring peace to the region. Through resolutions, peacekeeping missions, and diplomatic initiatives, the UN can help facilitate dialogue and monitor compliance with international agreements. Its involvement is essential for ensuring that all parties adhere to international norms and work towards de-escalation. For students preparing for the UPSC Civil Services examination, the Israel-Iran conflict is highly relevant. It covers topics such as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the Strait of Hormuz, regional geopolitics, and the two-state solution. Understanding the historical background, current developments, and implications for India is crucial for both prelims and mains, as well as for interview discussions. The conflict has been the subject of various UPSC questions in both prelims and mains. For example, questions have addressed the two-state solution, India's relations with Israel, and the impact of regional conflicts on India. Being able to analyze and articulate these issues is essential for scoring well in the exam and for understanding global affairs. Recent UPSC interviews have included questions about the Israel-Iran conflict, its implications, and related regional issues. Candidates are also expected to discuss India's stance, the role of groups like Hamas and the Houthis, and the impact on Indian interests. Quizzes and polls often test knowledge of geography, alliances, and current affairs related to the conflict. Understanding the geography of the region is important. For instance, Iran shares borders with Iraq, Turkey, Armenia, and Pakistan, but not Tajikistan. Such details are frequently tested in competitive exams and are essential for grasping the strategic dynamics of the Middle East. Public opinion plays a role in shaping policy responses. Polls often ask whether the US will directly participate in the conflict or if India's stance is appropriate. These questions reflect the uncertainty and complexity of international relations, as well as the importance of public perception in democratic societies. Summarize, the Israel-Iran conflict is rooted in decades of shifting alliances, ideological divides, and regional power struggles. Recent escalations have brought the world's attention to the risks of nuclear proliferation, proxy wars, and economic instability. The conflict's impact extends far beyond the Middle East, affecting global markets, energy security, and international diplomacy. Ongoing conflict underscores the importance of diplomacy, strategic foresight, and international cooperation. It highlights the dangers of miscalculation and the need for robust mechanisms to prevent escalation. For policymakers, students, and observers alike, the Israel-Iran conflict offers valuable lessons in crisis management and the complexities of modern geopolitics. Ultimately, peace in the Middle East requires sustained dialogue, mutual recognition, and a willingness to compromise. The international community must continue to support efforts for de-escalation and conflict resolution, recognizing that stability in this region is vital for global security and prosperity. As the situation evolves, staying informed is crucial. Follow credible news sources, analyze developments critically, and understand the broader context. The Israel-Iran conflict is a reminder of how interconnected our world is, and how events in one region can have ripple effects across the globe. For those interested in learning more, explore resources on the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the history of the Middle East, and international relations theory. Academic articles, government reports, and reputable news outlets provide valuable insights into the complexities of the Israel-Iran conflict and its global implications. Test your understanding with practice questions. Which countries border Iran? What is the two-state solution? How does the Strait of Hormuz impact global energy security? Engaging with such questions helps reinforce key concepts and prepares you for exams and informed discussions. Participate in quizzes and polls to gauge your knowledge and opinions on the Israel-Iran conflict. These interactive tools not only test your understanding, but also provide insight into how others perceive the ongoing situation. Staying engaged helps build a deeper awareness of current affairs. Israel-Iran conflict is a dynamic and multifaceted issue with significant implications for regional and global security. By understanding its history, causes, and consequences, we can better appreciate the challenges of modern international relations and the urgent need for peaceful solutions. Thank you for watching and staying informed. This video was created using information from official reports, academic sources, and reputable news outlets. Special thanks to all contributors and viewers for their interest in understanding the Israel-Iran conflict. Stay tuned for more in-depth analyses of global issues.